How's it? I've had so many requests asking me how to make the bread, and I have a really simple bread recipe for you which makes you the Forti bread, that wonderful bread that you will see on my Facebook post. So I'm just going to show you now. My son's busy filming. Just grab the dough hook, and hopefully you've all got a mixer. If you haven't got a mixer, you can do this by hand. Obviously it just takes a lot more effort, and but if you've got a dough hook, just stick it on your mixer, and then I have an amazingly simple recipe for you. And there's no particular order you have to put this in, as long as you beat it well. So you take a simple sachet of yeast, of normal instant yeast, and you just put this into your mixing bowl. A full sachet of yeast. You want to get a really nice lot of air into this bread. Obviously, if you had a sourdough starter, you could do this with a sourdough starter, but obviously I'm assuming that everyone doesn't have a sourdough starter. Okay, and this is assuming that those of you haven't used all your yeast to make pineapple beer by now. So just normal cake flour. You can also use bread flour, but I'm using cake flour because that's generally what people have at home. And the recipe is so simple. It's this: 1, 2, 3, 4 cups of cake flour. Then you just shoot to your kettle. Just put it on for a few seconds because we're going to mix some lukewarm water in with it. Okay, while that just quickly warms, I'm going to add the next important ingredient, which is a very good pinch of salt. So just see what I'm doing. I'm just taking a nice pinch of salt and adding it to the flour. And then essential ingredient. Take some good extra virgin olive oil. So I'm using normal one. Of course, I normally use my own, but everyone's going to have normal olive oil at home. And you add 2 tablespoons of olive oil to the mix, just like that. No particular order, as you can see. We just had the kettle on for a few seconds now, and the water must just be lukewarm. So I'm going to switch that off, and then we're going to add 3 cups of hot water. So it's a very simple recipe: 4 cups of flour, 3 cups of lukewarm water, 2 tablespoons of olive oil, a pinch of salt, and the 3 cups of lukewarm water. We're just going to add 1, 2, 3. So as you can see, this is what we call a high hydration mixture. So this is going to create a dough with a very high percentage of water, about 75%. We then lower the mixer into that, and we get it going. We first start on a slow speed just to get a nice mix going, and then slowly I'm just going to increase the speed a little just to make sure we get a good mix. As you can see, it's already combining nicely. I'm now going to start to increase the speed a little, just that we give that a really good mix. After a couple of minutes, I'm just going to lift the mixer and just scrape some of the flour off the side to incorporate it into the dough, the flour that remains dry right on the side. Okay, so at this stage I'm just going to lift the dough hook, take my spoon and just scrape off the excess flour off the side and just incorporate it into the dough. Can you see how soft this dough is? It's a lot of water, more water than you would imagine. And we're just incorporating. Already I'm getting a beautiful, like a warm, can you smell that, Joanne? Like a yeasty smell off the dough. So we We're going to lower this in again and just get it going. Okay. I'm not going to bore you with this, but effectively what we're going to do is now beat it properly for 10 minutes. We're really going to allow all that yeast, all that flour to really incorporate. We're going to allow the gluten to really come in contact with everything. And after 10 minutes, I'm going to continue this video and just show you what to do. Okay, we'll catch you now. So I just had enough time. This is part 2 to make myself a nice capo. I had the machine running at a very high speed. I just turned it down. I just want to show you the speed. And you can see it's actually flapping the dough around in it. It's actually pulling the dough away from the side of the machine. You see that? And I'm going to slow it down. And we can see our dough is nice and smooth and fully integrated. So I'm going to lift out the dough hook. Can you see the texture of that dough? It's amazing. It looks oozy, smooth, almost like whipped egg whites. It's actually fantastic. Okay, so I'm just going to scrape the last bit of dough off the hook. Can you lick that spoon? Yeah. Okay. So this is our dough. Sorry guys. I'll put this thing on tight. Giovanni, hold the machine for me with your one hand, thank you. No, I can't do much. You got it. Hold it tight, my boy. That's it. Okay, so there we go. Struggles, and as you can see, the dough's amazing. Now, what you do, you just put this dough on the side of your kitchen. You add just a tiny little sprinkle of flour on top, just like this. Sprinkle of flour on top, and then you take a tea towel, which I've got over here, and it's not completely dry, it's slightly moist, and you just put it over that, and then, cameraman, part 3 is we're going to uncover that. You leave that to rise for 3 hours. You'll see little bubbles forming, and once it's risen, that is when the key skill involved in making the bread comes. I'll see you at part 3. Hi, okay, we've left the dough, it's risen for 3 hours. Come and have a look here, Giovanni. Can you see all the bubbles at the top? This is alive, it's actually warm from being alive. Now I was going to put this out on a nice floured surface and then just leave it to prove, but my daughter just wrote a fantastic article in a well-known journal, and she has asked me to spoil her with some pizza. So unlike the bread where we just put it out onto a well-floured surface like this, I'm now going to use this very same dough which I showed you how to make, and we are going to make a tray, a beautiful tray of nonno style pizza. So I'm going to just roll this out, and then I'll give you one final shot where I show you what the pizza looks like. Just remember, you could take this dough that I showed you how to make, and then without squeezing the dough, because you must never squeeze those bubbles out, without squeezing the dough, you would just shape it firstly into a ball, let it cool for a few minutes, and then shape it just by squeezing gently onto the side, onto a loaf, put it on a tray like this, on a little bit of flour. Give it a small cut down the center with a sharp knife, just to break the little skin on the bread, and then you would bake that for 40 minutes in a 225-degree oven. 40 minutes. Just remember, never overhandle the dough, never push the air out of the dough. This is the key to good bread. But in the meanwhile, now I'm going to make pizza, and then we'll do one final shot when I show you what the pizza looks like.
What are we making?
We're making pizza, baby. We're making pizza, baby.